Gradually, towns develop their own characters. Eventually, many of them quietly impact your life. Years down the road, when you're reminiscing not about the town's restaurants, but these living pieces of the town's history. One such person is Paul Astrowski, who is owner and founder of Journey Comics in Macomb. His snow-capped hair atop his 6'7" frame is hard to miss. Come to the courthouse square, and there is a good chance you'll see him on a stroll, either morning or late at night, always offering a warm, pleasant greeting. A true gentle giant, always accompanied by a milky swirl of smoke from his Pall Mall cigarettes. This is when Paul does his thinking, each puff a new idea that gets swashed around his head until exhaled. Paul came to Western Illinois University in the early 60s, leaving his hometown of Kewanee.
When I was in high school, we had a student teacher who was from Western. She was probably my favorite teacher of my high school career. She was a great teacher. She made the subject fun. She seemed to enjoy doing it. So I thought, okay, yeah, I will try Western. It seems like a good school.
As fate would have it, Paul ran out of money one semester short of graduating from Western. He took a job at King Sealy Thermos for 15 years before it closed down. During that time, a movie came through town that set a flame to Paul's passion.
Back in the late 70s, it was about the time the Superman movie came out, the first Superman movie. And I had gone home and found my old comics, a box of them in the attic. Started reading them and realized that I had fun with them. So I started going to a few shows, a few comic conventions, and picking up a few things and picking up some new stuff. And I just got back into comics that way.
In his more than 30 years of owning Journey Comics, Paul has only moved his store once. It was from the basement to the upstairs of the same building. Once a quiet part of the town square, across the way from Chandler Park, it's now a busy route off the highway.
I'm very happy where I'm at. It's going well, and this is the life and the hobby.
Paul can recall the time before the square had a highway bypass. During those years, Muhammad Ali visited the square, drawing a crowd that blocked all traffic for several hours.
Muhammad Ali had two daughters who were going to school in Macomb, and he was up on the square, and of course some kids spotted him and asked for an autograph. By the time the afternoon was over, traffic couldn't get around the square. There were so many kids sitting out there waiting for autographs. It was one of the biggest days I can remember. Kids were really happy. They were coming in and they were beaming over their autographs.
The comic book store is more than a business. It provides a safe and positive place for kids to visit after school. One such person who frequented Journey as a kid is Donnie Gettinger, now a WIU art major. He says he always smiles when he smells a Pall Mall cigarette.
I would be in his store quite a bit, buying magic cards, and I just remember the smoke and the smell of the room, a very distinct smell. You know, when I moving away to college and I had to take my magic cards to storage, they had a little bit of that tinge, a little just reminder of Paul on them.
Some kids will eventually drop their comics, but in their adult years come back to visit with Paul. Some even pick up their comics again, not for themselves, but for their children. Joseph Roderick reporting.